Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing.
When you just talk about practice, we sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? And we talking about practice. My last. Not
Best believe that I'm top 3. The only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Put me anywhere of it and one that it's not me. It's beef, we strut a nigga block, that's chopped cheese. No peace, the butterfly sting him, that's Ali. You reek, I teach you with the handle, that's Kyrie. Machines you hook like a Roman, that's IV. You a sheep, I'm a go, it's a difference, so watch me. You weak, all hooks, no punch, so block me. They mock me, I just show them how it goes. Try to stomach the thug light. They bring out the nose, bandana on the grip. All heads coming out the foe. Connected from Cali to New York, niggas, so let it go. Pay for this. Nigga, I eat bars and drink clothes, thinking you woke into your third eye peephole. Line for line, this shit too easy. It's like a free throw. Mastered the game too early. This bitch a cheat code. It ain't a game. These niggas lame. State bring a shame. If I'm with an officer, it's a number in his name. We ain't the same. We want the easy pass. Tell him change his lane. Shit, I've been through the fire. You can't stand the rain. Take an aim. Tell him runner he can try his best. Drive a car named after me. That's why I'm in the set. Laughing these niggas once again, and I ain't break a sweat. Number one at everything I do. That's why I'm one west. The Lord is not the God of the dead. So when I die, coming back from my spot. So forever, I'm top 3. Just tell him to watch this janitor with the mop stick. You gonna need a defensive lineman to block this. On point when I bomb shit. 10 for 10, I do not miss. I'm barking with a full bulldog. It is not mixed. They can see that my mind's sick. I don't write, I find shit. I don't like it, then I switch. If I touch it, it's diamond. Tell a bitch that I'm God sent. It ain't because my kicks is built like 5'6", 5'7" is my bitch. Dangerous, high risk. I lose it, get another one. You think I'm talking about a girl? I'm talking about another gun. Head now. Hey, look, it is what it is now. We don't fuck with the house niggas. We burn the crib. I'm ahead now. And I hope they can hear now. I don't care if you think it's hit, nigga. I don't fear clown. Silence just make it sound like raindrop. That's a quiet storm. Get the job done in the view and get fired on. If you niggas stand for nothing, what you dying for? If you put real with real, that's how I was born. Walking this bitch ready for war. I'm in riot form. I want these niggas to see me flex. That's why I am armed. I shouldn't live in the crib, nigga. I should buy a farm to go through this shit so ever. That's the shit that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is, I'm not 2 and I'm not 3.
Shalom Israel, Yahbashim Thumb to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahshua Thumb Bashim Yahshua to all the sisters. Priest and Officer Sherry Wan under Commanding General YAHANNA. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right, we're the only place on earth authorized to teach the Bible. We're the only place on earth that teaches the truth of the Bible. The I.S.U.P.K is the home of the truth. It's where the real priests and prophets dwell. All right, where the real priests and prophets are raised up to teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans their culture, their history, their laws, their statutes and commandments. All right, tonight is Friday's night Lashawan Kodash class. All right, so let's clap it up. Let's get started. All right, we're going to get started like we do every class, every Friday nights. This is I.S.U.P.K Canada. All right, this is the Canadian school. If you're tuning in for the first time, hit that like button. Like, share, subscribe to our page. All right, this is No Cowards Canada. If you're a brother or sister who wants to learn with us, you're in our region, make sure you hit those sign-in links. All right. hit those sign-in links if you want to be a part of the school. All right. So Fridays, every Friday night, we're teaching Lashawan Kodash. Lashawan Kodash meaning Holy Tongue. This is a Hebrew class, all right? We're teaching the language of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right, giving them back their culture, their identity, things they lost before being stolen by a nation and brought to a land that they didn't know. All right, being sold to our enemies, being put into captivity, losing our identity, losing our heritage, losing our language. In the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we are giving that back to our people. Okay, so every Friday night you can tune in with us on our YouTube channel. We're teaching the Lashawan Kodash, all right, also known as Hebrew. Okay. And what we do every Friday before getting into our lesson, all right, it's tradition to go over our alphabet. Okay, many of us are new to learning the language. All right. Again, it's a language that was lost. It's a language that was stolen from us. It's a language that was beaten out of us. Okay. And so we're trying to get that back. So what we want to do is every Friday, we're going to start off going over the alphabet. All right. We're going to go over the 22 characters in the Hebrew. Okay. We'll just practice that really quick. And once we're done that, we're going to get into our lesson. Okay. So the first character we have is an alap. All right. Then we have a bayath. This class, we're not going to spend too much time on the alphabet. All right. We got classes where we spend a little more time going over the alphabet, a little more in depth. All right. Today we're just going to go over it briefly, and then we'll get into our lesson. So if you got any questions as we're going through, feel free to ask your questions. Type it in the chat. All right, I'll do my best to get your question answered. All right. So again, we're just going over the alphabet. All right, we got 22 characters. We have an alap, a bayath, a gamal. Okay. And as I call them characters, the reason I call them characters is because these are images. All right, they represent something. Right, like the alap. Okay, is actually a picture of an ox head. Okay, it's a picture of an ox head. It's a cow. Okay, the bayath is a picture of a house. Okay, these characters that we write, they represent something. Right. So if you were to take, for example, the first word in the Hebrew, right? You have a ah and a ba. All right, that word is Abba. Right? Abba. Abba means father. Okay? That's how we translate that in the English. Abba means father. Abba, this is how you spell it in the Hebrew. An ah and a ba. Okay? And so you have the picture of an ox head, right? The picture of an ox, right? Which represents strength. Then you have a picture of a house. Okay? So in Hebrew, when we say Abba, we're saying the strength of a house. Okay? And who is the strength of the house? That is the man. Okay? That's the man, that's the father of the house. Okay? The man who's married to a woman or multiple women. Okay, a man might have 10 wives, and that man is in charge of his house. Okay, he's in charge of protecting that house, guiding that house, leading that house. Okay, so Abba means strength of a house. Okay, which we call in English a father or a dad. Okay, father, dad, man. So you see these characters, they each have meaning. Okay, they each represent something. And that's how we form words in the Hebrew. Okay, so we have a a, ba, a ga, a dalath, a da, right? Which means door. Okay, we got a ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, taza, kwa, ra, sha, and a tha. Okay? And notice that we're doing Hebrew and we're going over the alphabet. Everything in Hebrew is right to left. Okay? In English, we go left to right. Okay? So I wrote it up here. When we're doing Hebrew, we go right to left. Okay? This is the first character, the second character, the third, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and so on. Okay? And so on. Okay? We're going right to left. That's how we read Hebrew. That's how we read and write Hebrew. Okay, if you were to look in your Torah or your THAWRAH, right, the book of the law, okay, this is the Hebrew, and we're reading right to left, right? You see verse 1, it starts over here. Okay, it doesn't start on this side of the page. Everything is right to left. Okay. So this is what we call the Lashawan Kodash. Okay. And it means holy tongue. Something we also go over. Okay, it's good to practice and learn the Assyrian. What is the Assyrian? The Assyrian is more of a modern day Hebrew. Okay? And the reason we teach this and the reason we go over it is because a lot of our manuscripts are written in the Assyrian. Okay? You read the 1611 King James Bible, it's translated from the Assyrian. When you go from the book of Genesis, all right, up to the book of Second Maccabees and so on, right? You're reading, you're looking at a book in the Hebrew, okay? when you're going in the Apocrypha, the New Testament, you're reading a translation from the Greek. Okay? Right? Or Salaki from Genesis to Malachi, right? You're reading in the Hebrew. Okay? Now, the reason we go over this is because this is what our manuscripts are written in. And all these characters that we find in the modern Hebrew, they all translate to this. Okay? Now, this is the language of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is what we focus on. This is all that really matters. All right? The Assyrian is just good practice. Okay? It's good practice to be able to identify some of the words that we read in the Hebrew. Okay? So we got the Assyrian. Okay? The Assyrian. It also has 22 characters. All right? They have an additional couple characters because some of their characters have 2. All right, but each of those characters translate into this, right? So we have an ah, right? Just like we have here an ah, this is an ah. Ba, we have a ba. Ga, we have a ga. Da, we have a da. Right? And so on and so forth. So all these characters translate. So we have ah, ba, ga, da, ha. Was, ka, ta, ya. Ka. Now this is the first character you see that has 2 symbols. Okay. Now both these characters, right, would translate into this ka. Okay, it's the same thing. The only thing that they do is that this second character, anytime you have a word that you're writing down, and this character ends at the end of the word, okay, you would use a second character. But if you see this character anywhere else in a word, you use the first character. Okay, but both of these are a ka. Okay. So you have ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, taza, kwa, ra, sha, natha. Okay. All right, so again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. There's 22 characters. And then you'll notice there's 5 characters in the Assyrian that have the ka, the ma, the na, the pa, and the tazah. Okay, they have 2 different symbols. Okay, both meaning the same thing. Now, you want to learn Hebrew, you want to learn the basics, okay? You want to learn your alphabet. Once you learn your alphabet, you want to learn how to pronounce each of these characters. Okay? First, you have an ah, you have a ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, taza, kwa, ra, Sha, and a Tha. Okay? In the same order, this is how you pronounce each of these characters. Okay, so right here, you have an ah, the ah. Next, you have a ba, ba. Then you have a ga, ga, da, da, ha, ha, wa, wa. Okay, and so on and so forth. So once you learn your alphabet, like we wrote down, okay, you want to learn the pronunciation of each of those characters. Once you get the pronunciation down, you'll have no problem reading Hebrew. Okay? Reading and speaking the Hebrew. Okay, quick shout out to the chat. Shalom, Casey. THAWRAH for tuning in, sis. You got any questions, type it in the chat. I'll do my best to get an answer for you. So we're just going over the alphabet really quick, right? We're not spending too much time on it. Again, if you want more information or a more in-depth class on the alphabet, go through our YouTube channel and just look up some of the beginner and the basics to Hebrew. Okay? So let's move on from that. All right. So today's class, we're going to go over something light. All right. We haven't gone over it in a bit. We're just going to go over some vocabulary. Okay. We're going to start off with this word, all right, that we hear all the time. Okay. Which is Torah. When you look in the Assyrian, right, you look in our manuscripts. You learn to read the Hebrew, you're going to see the Tha, how do they spell that? It's going to be the Tha. You're going to see the Wa. You see a Ra and a Ha. Okay? So you have a Tha, a Ra, or Salakia, the Tha, the Wa, the Ra, and the Ha. Okay? That's why it's very important to learn how to pronounce each of those characters in the alphabet, right? So when you see these characters, right, you have a THAWRAH. Okay? 2022, right? There's a group of people around the year 1942, right, that established themselves as Israelites. Okay? Better yet, they call themselves Jewish. Okay? Now, these people, if you look into their history and their ancestry, you look where their people come from, they are German. All right? When you read and study the Bible, okay, and you understand some of the lineages in the Bible, there's a man in the Bible named Esau, and he's the father of the Edomites. Okay? And going down Esau's lineage, there's a son. He has a son whose name is Amalek. All right. And when you trace the lineage of Amalek, you'll later come down to Ashkenaz. You'll come down to what we call today in 2022 Germans. All right. Now these people go through some tribulation. Okay, they go through some hardships as a nation, and then they go into a land and they establish themselves as a nation in around the year 1942. And this is where you get the people who call themselves Jewish today. Okay? But their biblical lineage, all right, they are Edomites. When you look into the history of who they are and where they come from, where they migrated from, they go back to the nation of Edom, the nation of Esau. Right? So when you see this word Torah, or you see another word like shalom, they're actually speaking German, Arabic, and ancient Hebrew. Okay? This is their language, okay? The reason they say Torah is because they have a Germanic dialect, all right? We also call it Yiddish. Okay? Torah is not real Hebrew. Shalom is not real Hebrew. THAWRAH or THAWRAH is how you actually pronounce this word. Okay. So there's a lot of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are coming into their culture. They want to take their nation back. They want to take their culture back. Don't go around saying Yisrael. Don't go around saying Shalom. Don't go around saying Torah, because that is not your language. All right? That is not your culture. You're actually speaking a Germanic dialect of Hebrew. This word THAWRAH, instead of speaking a broken down version of Hebrew, speak your actual language. Okay? This is a thaw. This is a wa. This is a ra. And a hada. Okay? Now, in our language, right, learning our Hebrew, we also have something called connectors. Okay? These connectors let us know what syllable to pronounce. Right? So we have a tha, wa, ra, and a ha. When you connect two characters in the Hebrew, you're going to drop this syllable, right? You're going to drop the syllable of the last character that's connected to, right? So instead of saying thawa, right? Instead of saying tha and a wa, these two connect. So we drop this character. Okay, we drop the syllable at the end of this character. All right, and same with here. These two characters are connected. They let us know how to pronounce this word. So we have a ra and a ha. So we put the ra and we have a ha, but we drop the last syllable in the ha because these two connect. Okay. Torah, right? The way those German people say it, those fake Jews, the synagogue of Satan, the nation of Amalek, according to the Bible. All right. The proper way to say this word is THAWRAH. Okay, THAWRAH. Okay. And this word THAWRAH translates to the word law in the English. Okay. Now, like I said, when you go through the Bible, the 1611 King James Bible, we have the Hebrew and we have Greek, right? So the Greeks would say Pentateuch. I forget how to spell this exactly. Okay, it's something like this. Okay, penta, meaning 5. Okay. So So some people might translate this word THAWRAH as 5. Okay, that's where we get the first 5 books of the Bible. Okay, some scholars today would call it the first 5 books of the Bible. They call it Torah. Okay, but this is the proper way to say this word, THAWRAH. Okay, and it means law. It's very important as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that we take back our culture. Okay? All right? That way we're not saying shalom or shalom. Okay? You don't want to be saying things like this because we don't understand our Hebrew and we don't understand our culture. Okay? We got to learn the right way to pronounce our language and pronounce our characters. Right? We say shalom. Okay? This is the correct way to say shalom, meaning peace, right? When you say shalom, you're letting somebody know I come in peace, right? You don't want to startle a Black, Hispanic, or Native American. You don't want to run up on them, right? That's a part of our culture. You want to let us know that you're coming in peace. You're coming in shalom, okay? It's very important that we take back our culture, okay? That we don't do things half-assed, but we actually learn our culture, okay? We learn our THAWRAH, okay, our law. Okay, so again, tonight's class, we're just going to go over, we're going to have a light class today. We're just going to go over some vocabulary, okay? We're going to go over some of the books of the Bible. Okay? We're going to learn to say these books the proper way, okay? We're not going to learn the Yiddish. We're not going to learn the German dialect. We're not going to learn the Arabic dialect. We're going to learn the actual Hebrew, okay? Okay? So we have this word here, Bara'ashayah. Okay, this is how you pronounce it. Bara'ashayah. Bara'ashayah. Okay, that means beginning. Okay, Bara'ashayah is best translated into English as beginning. Okay, translators have wrote down the book of Genesis. Okay, that's how you say Genesis in the Hebrew. Bara Ashia. If we were to put that in your modern day Hebrew, right? This is what you're going to see. You're going to see a ba, a ra, an a sha, a ya, and a tha. Okay? And this is the only reason that we teach the Assyrian in this class. Okay? Because a lot of our manuscripts, this is what you're going to read. But what's important is you learn how to translate this, okay, into our alphabet, into our language. Okay, we have manuscripts written in this. Okay, we have ancient manuscripts where you find the Lashon Kodash. This is the characters that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were using in times of old. Okay, that's Bara Ashia. Okay, that means beginning. Next word we got for the next book is Sham, Shamwath. 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 Now, as you start to study Hebrew more, something you're going to learn about our language and about the way we form words and form sentences is that you always want to identify a root word when we're speaking our language, okay? The root word in here is sham, okay? Sham. What does sham mean? Name. Okay. Shamwath, we have a plural, right? Wath. For example, no sweat. We'll leave that for now. But sham is the root word, okay? And sham is name. Okay, so we have shamwath, we have names. Translators wrote the name of this book as Exodus. Okay? In the Hebrew, it means names. Shamwath. Okay? You see down here, we have the Assyrian, or the modern day Hebrew, or the Yiddish, the Germanic language, and the Arabic language. You'll see this, right, when you read our manuscripts. You'll see a sha, a ma, a wa, and a tha. Okay? And the correct way to pronounce it is sham wath. Okay, this next word we have is YAHANNA. Okay, YAHANNA is the book of Leviticus. It means he calls. Okay, we got YAHANNA. YAHANNA. Okay, it means he calls. Okay, so we went over Genesis. Genesis meaning the beginning, right? That's where you learn about the beginning of the nation of Israel. Okay, you learn about Adam and Eve and his lineage on down. Okay, which would later be called the nation of Israel. All right, Adam passed on the laws, statutes, and commandments. Right, it says in the book of Bara Ashiaf. Okay, the book of Genesis, it says that Adam learned the breath of life. He received the breath of life. And that breath of life is a metaphor for the laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay. Adam was the first man to receive the law, statutes, and commandments, and he passed it on through his sons and his sons' sons, right? Through Methuselah, through Enoch, through Noah, getting down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those laws, statutes, and commandments were passed down. That's what you read about in the book of Genesis, the beginning, right? Then we get to the book of Exodus. If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American today, that book of Exodus, I almost want to say is the foundation to everything. Okay, you read the book of Exodus. As we went over in the Hebrew, it's Shamwath. Shamwath, Exodus, meaning names. Right? That books, you have the story of Joseph. You got the story of Moses. All right, the Israelites coming out of Egypt, being freed by their power, seeing the power of the Most High, who stood with the nation of Israel, defeated their enemies. Okay, Exodus is a very powerful book because it'll help you understand everything that's going on today with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay, that's the book of Shamwath. Then we got the book of Leviticus, right? Meaning he calls. YAHANNA. And this is a book where you learn what's good and what's not good for you, what's healthy and what's not healthy, what you can eat, what you can't eat. You know what I mean? Different laws of cleanliness, different laws of who to lay down with and who not to lay down with, right? Not to uncover the nakedness of people, right? People who are close to you or near kin to you, right? The book of Leviticus will teach you how to be healthy, okay? The types of foods that you should eat, okay? YAHANNA means he calls. That's Leviticus. Okay, Bamad Bar. Bamad Bar. Okay, Bamad Bar is the book of Numbers. Okay, translators wrote Numbers, right, as the name of that book, Bamad Bar. What that means in the English is wilderness. Bamad Bar. Okay. Again, we're just going over vocabulary tonight. Okay, nothing too heavy. Something you want to focus on are these connectors. Okay. These connectors let you know what syllables to use and what not to use. Okay. They teach you how to pronounce a word in Hebrew. Right. For example, if you didn't have these connectors, you would say ba, right? You would say ba. You would say ma. You would say da, ba, and a ra. Okay? You would say ba ma, da, ba, ra. Okay? If you didn't have these connectors. These connectors are very important. They let you know how to properly pronounce a word in the Hebrew. Okay? What syllables to use. So when we add in these connectors, right, this ba lets you know to fully pronounce the ba. Okay, when you have this character facing up like this. So we have a ba, right? And then these two characters connect, the ma and the da. So instead of saying ma da, we say mod. Okay? Mod. Right? We put it together. Mod. And then same right here, we have the ba and the ra connected. So instead of saying ba ra, right, these connect, so we just say bar. All right, we drop that last syllable on the ra. Bamad bar. Okay? It means wilderness. Okay, this next word we have in the Hebrew is dabar yum. Okay. All right, again, we want to look for the root word. Okay, dabar. The word dabar means word. Okay. We have this root word here, dabar, right? We have a da, a ba, and a ra. Dabar. Then you have this word at the end, which is yam, right? What is yam? Okay, some brothers and sisters in the school, you might be familiar with this word. Ak, okay? Ak means brother. Right? You say ak, yum, right? You add a yum at the end, the ya and the ma, right? Yum. You're now making the word plural. Okay? So ak yum is brothers. So when you see the bar is a root word, which just means word. And then you have yum. And you add yum at the end of a word, it just makes it plural. Okay? You're speaking about something multiple. So Deuteronomy, the bar yum, means words. Okay, the bar yum means words. Okay, words, also known as the book of Deuteronomy, the bar yum. This is where you learn about the laws, statutes, and commandments. You learn about curses. You learn about blessings, right? You learn about the covenant of the Most High, between the Most High and the nation of Israel. Okay, that's the bar yum. Okay, so we have the bar yum, which is Deuteronomy, okay, which means words. This next word we have is Nabaya'ah. Nabaya'ah. Nabaya'ah means prophet. Okay. Now again, you see the yam, right? You see the ya and the ma. The ya and the ma. When that's at the end of a word, right, it makes the word plural. Okay, so instead of saying prophet, this is prophets. Right? Prophets plural, multiple. Okay, so what we went over, right, we would call it THAWRAH. THAWRAH, right, which we showed earlier. Another way of saying THAWRAH is Torah. Okay, Torah meaning law or 5. THAWRAH. Okay, so we went over Genesis to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is the Barium. THAWRAH. Okay, those are the first 5 books. Right? Some people call it the first 5 books of Moses. If you're a Black, Hispanic, or Native American, this is your foundation. Okay? These laws, statutes, and commandments mean everything. You're not going to understand the first or the New Testament. You're not going to understand the Apocrypha. You're not going to understand the book of Joshua, Obadiah, Malachi, Ezekiel. You're not going to understand any of those books if you don't understand THAWRAH. Okay? You don't understand the law. Okay, this is Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. It says, "This is the book of the law." You understand? "It shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein." Okay, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you got to understand that this Bible is the book of the law, the book of THAWRAH. Okay, these laws, statutes, and commandments are everything for us. Okay, THAWRAH. THAWRAH. THAWRAH meaning law. THAWRAH. Okay, Romans chapter 7 and verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law. You understand? If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you have to know THAWRAH. You have to know the law. You understand? That's in the New Testament. Paul was saying, I speak to them that know THAWRAH, that know the law. You understand? If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you have to know the law. You have to know the Torah. You have to know the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High told you to keep. Okay? That's what we read from Genesis to Deuteronomy. You keep on reading that verse, it says, because the law has dominion over a man. You understand what dominion means? Dominion means authority, power. Right? Domain. This is my domain. This is my dominion. Right? The law has a domain, a dominion over Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You have to know those first 5 books. You understand? You have to understand the things that Moses wrote from Genesis to Deuteronomy. You understand? Or the scribes of Moses. Understand that they wrote down as they were instructed by Moses. Understand? Or whoever wrote those books, those are the books for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to know the THAWRAH, the law. Okay? Because after that, then we have the Naba Ya'ayam. Naba Ya'ayam. Naba Ya'ayam. Now you have the book of the prophets. Okay, so we have the Naba Ya'ayam, which means prophets. Okay, let's go through some of the different prophets that we have. Okay, we have Yah, Ha, Washai. Okay, this is the name of Joshua. Now, not to get too in depth on the definitions of each of these names, I'm just going to go over the BDB definition. Okay. Just looking at the BDB definition, there's different definitions. Okay, in the English, this is the BDB definition of these words. Okay, Joshua means Yahweh is salvation. Okay. So we went over the THAWRAH, right? Those first 5 books of Moses, the THAWRAH, the law. Now we're going to go over the names of some of the prophets. Okay. So we got Joshua, Yahweh. Okay. This is also the name of Christ. Okay. Now again, this is the BDB definition. Okay. This is a dictionary from the BDB. Okay. Another book we have is Shawapatyam. Okay. Shawapatyam. Okay. That's the book of Judges, and it means to judge, govern, vindicate, or punish. Okay. Shawapat. Okay. Shawapat is the plural, or Salakia. Shawapat is the root word. Okay. Shawapat means judge. You see yum. Again, we see that word yum, where the characters the ya and the ma. Okay. Yum, it's plural. So we have judge is. Okay. Multiple judges. Shawapat yum. Okay, next we have Shama Wa'al. Okay. This is Samuel. Okay, I'm going to look up what that word means or what that name means. Shama Wa'al. Okay. Shama Wa'al. Right? What is all? All is power. Right? Those Yiddish people, they would say El. Right? They would say El. Right? El or Elohim. Right? In the Hebrew, the proper Hebrew, we say all. Right? All. Or Allah Hayim. Okay? right? In our Hebrew, we would say Allahayim, or all, right? All. So all is power, right? Power, angel, authority. And then you have the word Sham, right? Sham means name. Okay, Sham. And so when you put those root words together, right? Wa means and. So name and power, right? That's how we would say that in the Hebrew. Name and power. Shama Wa'al, Samuel. His name is power. Right? Shama Wa'al. These are the Naba Ya'ayam. These are the names of prophets. Name of a prophet is Shama Wa'al, Samuel. Malakiam. We have Malak. Okay, a Malak. A Malak is king. And then we have Yam. Again, Yam is plural, right? We keep seeing that Yam, right? You see Yam again here, right? And Shawapatyam. Shawapatyam is judges plural. So now you have a Malak, right? Malak is king in the Hebrew. King. And then we add in the Yam, so we know it's plural. Okay? The book of Kings, right? Malakim. It means angel, messenger, angel, messenger, or a king, right? Okay. Also, ruler, governor. These are other words you can put with the word malak. Okay. What else do we got? We got the book of. Let's do Isaiah. Okay. Book of Isaiah. Isaiah in the Hebrew is Yeshai. Yeshaya. All right, let me make sure I spell that right. Yeshai. Yeshaya. Okay, it ends with a Hada. Yeshaya. So we would put, right, trying to pronounce it, Yeshai. Ya. Okay, Yeshaya. which is Isaiah. Okay, I'll pull up the BDB definition. Okay, I think it means savior or something like that. Let me just double check. Isaiah. Yeshaya. The BDB, right? Again, we're just doing the BDB definition. Is Yahweh has saved. Okay, Yahweh has saved. Now, Yeshaya and Yahawashai are similar, okay, but they're different. Joshua and Isaiah, okay, those are two different names. Joshua is Yahweh is salvation. Okay, Isaiah is Yahweh has saved. Okay, and Joshua is the name of our King Christ, Yahawashai. Okay, Yahawashai HaMashiach. Yahawashai the Messiah. Okay. Okay, so again, these are Naba Ya'ayim, right? We have up here Naba Ya'ayim. These are Naba Ya'ayim. These are prophets. Okay, Naba Ya'ayim. Naba Ya'ayim are the prophets. Those are the men in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Okay, we have the spirit of the prophets. We are here today teaching the truth of the Bible, telling you what the Most High is ordering the nation of Israel to do, ordering blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to do. Okay, we are the Naba Ya'ayim, the prophets. Okay, we are Shema Wa'al, Mala'akim, Yeshaya. Okay, these are the names of prophets. Yeramaya. Okay. Yeramaya. Yeramaya. Yeah, that's the name of Jeremiah. Let's get the BDB definition. The name Jeremiah, Yeramaya, means whom Yahweh has appointed. Yeramaya. Yeramaya, Jeremiah, whom Yahweh has appointed. Okay. Another prophet we have is Yakazakal. Yakazakal. Yakazakal is in English Ezekiel. Okay. And Yahweh is the name of the Most High. Okay. So Ezekiel means the Lord strengthens, or the Most High strengthens, or God strengthens. All right. The proper name of the Most High is Yahweh. When you read through your Bible, you might see Jehovah or Yahweh. Okay. But the proper way to pronounce that is Yahweh. So Yakaz, Zakal, Yakazakal is Ezekiel. Okay. He is a Nabayayim. Nabayayim. He was a prophet. Okay. Nabayayim. And his name is Yakazakal, which means Yahweh strengthens. Okay. Okay, here's another name of a prophet. Hosea. Ha-Washai. Now, something interesting, right? If you've been taking notes and you've been writing down each of the definitions of all these names, right? You had judges, you had kings, you had Yahushai, Joshua, right? He saves, he is salvation, right? These are the names of the prophets, the Nabayayim. What are these prophets doing? Right? The Most High strengthens. Jeremiah, Yahweh whom Yahweh has appointed. Right? What did he say to Jeremiah? I knew you from your mother's womb. Right? You were a prophet right from your mother's womb. Right from your mother's womb. Right? Hawashai, Hosea, salvation. What is the job of a prophet? Right? This is why the I.S.U.P.K is so important, right? To Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because what prophets do is they teach you what is required of you. They teach you the THAWRAH, as we went over earlier, the Torah, the law, right? You want to know the laws, statutes, and commandments because that is what will give you salvation. When you turn from your sin and you start keeping the covenant that the Most High made with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you'll find your salvation. You'll find your strength, right? Hawashai, Hosea, you'll find your salvation. What is salvation? Being saved from your enemies, being saved from those that oppress you, right? Those that destroy you, those that hate you. Right? You're Black, Hispanic, and Native American. Understand that you are in the land of your oppressor. You're not in your homeland. You're living in a place where there is a people that is over you, that is ruling over you, that is governing over your decisions and your lifestyle. You understand what your kids can do, what your kids can't do. You understand? They're teaching in the public schools right now. They have Gay Pride Month going on. But when we read in the book of Leviticus, you're not allowed to lay down with another man if you're a man, as you would lie down with a woman. You cannot be homosexual. You understand? This is why Canada has over 70 cases of monkeypox. Right? People are going to die of being homosexual. When you're homosexual, you're going to die of AIDS, HIV. You're going to die of a blood transmitted disease. You understand? This is what you do when you do things against the Most High. So we have prophets, Nabaya'ayim, that teach you not to do these things that destroy your life. You understand? This is what all these meanings of these names of these prophets come from. Okay, another prophet we have is Yahweh, okay, Joel or Joel. Okay, Yahweh means Yahweh is power. Yahweh is power. The Most High is power. Okay, let's look up the definition of Amos. I'm a wasp. I'm a wasp. I'm a wasp. Okay, this is how you say it in the Hebrew. I'm a wasp. Okay. What does this mean in English? It means burden. I'm a wasp. Okay, Amos, we have I'm a wasp. Okay, YAHANNA. YAHANNA is Jonah. Jonah, and it means dove. YAHANNA. So you have I'm a wasp, which is Amos, and YAHANNA, which is Jonah. Okay, Nabaya'ayim. Nabaya'ayim. These are the prophets. Okay, we got Jonah. Jonah means dove. All right, let's pull up a verse on that, right? YAHANNA, right, which is Jonah. Right? Some people don't understand this, right? This is Second Ezra's. You read the book of Second Ezra's. This is chapter 5, right? And you go to verse 24, right? And it reads, "And of all the lands of the whole world thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof one lily." You understand? The Most High loves the lily. You understand? That is the favorite flower of the Most High. Verse 25, "And of all the depths of the sea thou hast filled thee one river, and of all builded cities thou hast hollowed Zion unto thyself." The Most High loves the city of Zion. The Most High loves Jerusalem, the nation of Israel. Verse 26, "And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove." You understand? The Most High loves the dove. That's in the Bible. You understand? The Most High has favorites. The Most High has a special people. The Most High loves blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The Most High loves the lily. You understand? Amongst all other flowers. The Most High loves the smell of frankincense. You understand? And the Most High loves the dove. He loves the YAHANNA. Next we have Mayaka. Okay, Mayaka is Micah. Mayaka. Okay, and what is a BDB definition? It means who is like Yah. Who is like Yahweh. Right? Who is like the Most High? And that is what Mayaka means. Mayaka, right? Translators changed it to Micah. Okay, and it means who is like Yahweh. These are the prophets. So what we're gonna do, right? Because again, tonight's class was pretty basic. Right? We're just going over some vocabulary, going over some of the names of the books in the Bible, some of the names of the prophets. Right? We went over Genesis, Baraya'ath, right? Baraya'ath means the beginning, right? The Barium, Deuteronomy. We went over from Genesis to Deuteronomy, right? Then we went over the names of some of the prophets. Okay, and so what I'll do is I'll just write down a couple more names, all right, so you can see how to properly pronounce it in the Hebrew. Okay, and then we're going to end the class there. Okay, so we just went over Jonah, and we just went over Micah. So we have Nahum, okay, Makah, Makawam, okay. So Nahum, we have Habah, Quawak, Habakkuk, we have Ibadiah, Ibadiah, right, which is Obadiah. We can put Zephaniah, which is Tazapan, Tazapanya. Okay, Tazapanya is Zephaniah. We'll put one more. Let's put Haggai. Yeah, we'll put Haggai is Kagaya. Kagaya. Okay, which is Haggai. And you can look these names up for yourself if you want to see the definitions of each of these names. Okay. Again, these are the Naba Ya'ayim. Okay. Naba Ya'ayim. Naba Ya'ayim is prophets. Naba Ya'ah is prophet. Right? Prophet singular. Naba Ya'ayim is prophets plural. Okay. These are the names of different prophets. Okay. And each of these brothers are telling you to repent, turn back to the Most High, keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American, the THAWRAH, the Torah, the laws, that is everything to you. Okay? That's what you want to come back to. And you come back to it by listening to the prophets, the Naba Ya'ayim. Okay? These prophets will lead you in the right direction. They'll tell you and teach you how to follow the Most High. Okay? That's what's important if you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American. Okay, so with that, we're going to end the class. That's Friday's night, Lashawan Kodash class. Let's clap it up. Okay, take your time. Make sure you write down, take notes, take good notes. All right, the Lashawan Kodash, the Hebrew. You want to learn a language, make sure you take notes, okay? All right, that's how you'll learn the language. You can practice it, and you'll get better each day. All right, so with that, we're going to do the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. All right, we are the I.S.U.P.K. Started at 1 West 125th Street in New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to show themselves in the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can read about that in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. I.S.U.P.K means tenth in the Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We have the Feast of First Fruits coming up. I believe that's this weekend coming up. Feast of First Fruits. Let me double check. So bear with me. Make sure you hit those sign-in links and the sign-out links before you end this class. So we have the Feast of First Fruits coming up, which is a holy day that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to keep. Okay, that's in the THAWRAH, the law. The Feast of First Fruits will be on June 12th. Okay, June 12th. That's not this weekend, but the weekend coming up. The Feast of First Fruits, you can read about that in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 10 and verses 10 to verse 22. Okay. With that said, any brother who wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. With that said, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Imadium. Imadium in the Hebrew means stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Imadium Shabbat. Imadium. Barak. Yahweh Shem El Shabrak Thumb. Yadam Matah, which means hands down. Sar. Sar means turn. We're going to turn and face the sisters. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imadium Shabbat. Imadium. Barak. Yahweh Shemar Lathan Bashim Al Shai. Yadam Matah. Class dismissed. All right, make sure you hit those sign-in links before the class ends. All right, I'll put the sign-out links in the chat. Shalom, Israel.
According to God, the white man is the devil. See, I've been here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk, they like to claim leadership, they like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority, they don't really know what to do with that leadership. Man. Go ahead, like they ain't need to stop it, ain't need to give a damn what you talking about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Stand up and serve my God. We'll pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Everybody ain't with all that peace talk. Everybody ain't with all that little bygone. Boy, ain't shit stopping. Ain't shit prophets. My niggas serious. Boy, when they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, when the fuck with your leaders, I'm curious. You cashed down on your blood, traded you in and bought a new beast. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in your dream. I tell you won't, so tell you no more. I swear these crackers trying to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed the up on parole because of the COVID. It feel like the host in this world is double the devil. Knowing it's gold in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil to go to the center. Yeah, see the prophets. Sometimes these niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, you ain't need to stop it, ain't cheap props. But like we all come together. You know what I'm saying? They say God sold up the world. God sold up the world and no, you ain't need to stop it, ain't cheap. God damn what you talking about. Don't give a fuck what you believe. You gotta stand up and serve